Distinguished professors, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's my great honor to share with you my design about this given video. First of all, I'd like to clarify a few things. The target students, the size and duration of my class. I assume that my students are freshmen, non-English majors, and there are 32 students in my class. The duration of class is about 45 minutes. And then I'd like to summarize the video clip briefly. The video clip is trying to show us two different homes in the United States of America. One of them consumes a lot of energy, and the other is very eco-friendly. This video is simply to raise our awareness of energy saving and protecting our Earth. I have two teaching objectives for this video course. First of all, I hope at the end of this class, my students are able to understand the video and raise their awareness of energy saving. Second, I hope I could develop students' critical thinking ability through classroom discussion. In order to achieve these objectives, here comes my teaching procedure. There are 4 parts: lead-in, in-class activity, assessment, and after-class activity. So in the lead-in part, I'd like to ask my students a few easy questions to get them involved, to activate their prior knowledge. For example, in this particular video, I will probably ask them, hey guys, what home appliances do you use in your household? How often do you use them? Things they are able to answer and willing to participate. Next, in-class activity. Since this is a listening and speaking course, I think my activity can fall apart into two different categories: the listening activity as well as the speaking activity. In the listening activity, I'd like my students to watch the video clip for 2 or 3 times, depending on the level of the students. So watch the video for the first time. I hope my students can grasp the general idea of the video. So after watching for the first time, I may ask them very general questions. For example, in this video, I will probably ask them questions like, what is the video about? How many houses did the narrator mention? What is the narrator's attitude towards 2 different houses? And then watch the video for the second and probably the third time. And for these 1 or 2 times, I will probably ask them very detailed questions. Things like, what problems are there in their houses, in the first house especially? And what home appliances did the narrator mention? Very specific and detailed questions. What is the solution to the problems mentioned in the first household? Yes. And also, in this, because there are 2 different questions, closed-ended question and open-ended question, I'd like to use the closed-ended question in the listening part, simply to check their understanding of the video. And later, I will ask an open-ended question in the next part, which is the speaking part. Yes. So in this part, I will also use certain ways to check their understanding. For example, spot dictation, true or false questions, multiple choices. And I will focus on the numbers this time. For example, in this video, I think there are 4 different numbers appeared. First of all, is 40% of the energy are consumed by houses in the US. I will probably design a question or a task to ask them to fill in the blanks or in other ways that I just mentioned. And $60 extra money average American needs to spend on the energy. And then the minus 40 degree, and then 120 watts. So I will focus on numbers this time. Okay, and move on. The speaking activity. Well, for this part, I would like to put my students in 8 groups. As I just mentioned at the very beginning of my speech, there are 32 students in my class, right? So 4 people in one group, 8 groups totally. So you may wonder, why small groups? Because I hope my students working in small groups have less pressure working in small groups. They are not worried or afraid to speak because there are not many people. There are only 4 of them. The second reason is I hope every single student in the group has an opportunity to speak rather than just listen to what other students say. Okay, the 2 specific activities I would like to do is, 1, I would like to combine their notes they took when they listened to the video, and then to retell the story in their own words by referring to their notes. The second activity I would like them to do is to develop their critical thinking ability by asking them, besides unplugging the solution appeared in the video, are there any other ways to save the energy at home? Okay, to let them discuss, to give them a few minutes. Next, the assessment. Well, I will introduce to them a very, I think, very useful and helpful chart. I call this KWL chart. Okay. It's like this. So K refers to know, W, want to know, and L, learned. So I will put several key phrases over here. For example, in this particular video, there are solar panel, there are unplug, as well as eco-friendly. Yes, eco-friendly should be here. Okay. So before watching the video, I will ask them, do you know any of them? If no, they should check here, for example. If they don't really know, but they want to know, I will check here. Okay? And after all the activities I've done, I will bring up the chart back again to check whether they've learned all of the terms appeared in the video clip. That's how we'll assess my students at the end of my class. And the last thing, after class activity. This part includes students' assignment as well as my own teacher's reflection. Students' assignment, I'd like them to do a project called Eco-Friendly City. I will ask them to think about the ways to save the energy in cities, and they have to present their plan to the class next time we meet. And for teachers' reflection, I will probably interview some of my students and ask them how they feel about this class. And I really think and believe this will help me to be a better teacher in future classes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Morning, Professor Fong.
Okay. In this video, we are presented with the problems and solutions concerning energy conservation,
yes,
or environmental protection. Okay?
Yes.
We know that we have 2 solutions, okay?
Right.
So what aspects of the video program strike you most in terms of the solutions provided? In other words, why is the video convincing to you? Are you convinced by the end?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay. You're convinced that these solutions are effective, okay? So what aspects of the video strike you most as very convincing?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. Well, I think everybody realizes the importance of energy saving, but we simply say it, but we don't really do it in practice in real life. But the thing that strikes me the most are the numbers, like I mentioned. 40% of the energy are consumed by household. That was quite, that strikes me a lot. And then the other numbers, like even in a very cold home, in the second home, it's about minus 40 degrees, but with solar panel, home can be very warm. So actually, you can use the solar panel to save energy, and that's no problem. And every American needs to spend $60 extra every year for the waste of energy. So, and the number strikes me. That's my answer. Thank you.
Two of numbers involve problems, but we are more concerned with the solutions. Why were the solutions, so effective to you?
Why the solution so effective?
Yeah. Why did the solutions provided in the material, why were they so striking?
Thank you for your question. I think the solutions provided in this video clip are actually very simple solutions. Everybody can do it. It's not a big thing. It's not like for you to donate a lot of money and ask people to join your campaign or program. You can do it on your own. You can do it at home. This is something we can get access to. Mm-hmm. So that's, I think, the best solution appear in the video.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. My second question concerns your teaching objective. You wanted to cultivate students' critical thinking skills.
Yes.
And you organized the activity by asking students to think of other ways of energy conservation, okay?
Yes.
My question is, what specific critical thinking skill do you want to develop? So critical thinking skill is a broad term, right? So it involves many different kinds of sub-skills. So what specific sub-skills do you want to develop in the students by organizing this kind of activity?
Okay, thank you for your question. I think, if I'm right, there are 35 different ways to do critical thinking. And the number one, I would like to use two of them. The first one is to cultivate their independent thinking ability. The second one is to cultivate their compare and contrast ability. So I'd like them to think out a solution first on their own. They cannot just refer to or talk to other students. And then I would like to come back and work in a group and compare their solutions. I think by these two ways, their critical thinking ability can be developed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.